What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're back again for our Monday Night Raw review for March 19th, 2018. We had the Ultimate Deletion tonight, which felt a little rushed at the end. Was fun there. We had Brock Lesnar finally showing up on Monday Night Raw and pretty much destroying a handcuffed Roman Reigns, which I don't know where WWE thinks they can sink to this level of how much farther they can sink before they realize that this isn't working. We'll get to the Ultimate Deletion later on. It was what we expected. I think it was a little rushed, but we will get to that later. And also, John Cena wanted answers from the Undertaker, and we will get to that later. But let's start off with what happened at the beginning of the show. Angle starts to show off, and he says Roman's suspension is still in effect, which the crowd pretty much cheered for, and he won't be here. The crowd pretty much cheered. He's like, his suspension is in effect, and Roman is not here, which everybody cheered. Which it's like, this guy, you're trying to get this guy, Roman Reigns, over as a babyface, and it's not working. But that ultimately leads to Roman Reigns ending up coming into the arena, and then Brock Lesnar and him have a showdown, which does not go the way you think it would. Here is Kurt Angle and everything that leads after that.
The tag team battle royal without a partner.
Oh, he was talking about
and
that.
He won.
They cut it out and this is the thing that's starting to become really sad. Every single time that they have some kind of video footage and the crowd cheers when there's something negative about Roman Reigns, they're not going to show it on YouTube. Had the crowd booed Kurt Angle heavily for saying that Roman Reigns was not going to be here tonight, it would be in this clip. He was starting to talk about the Braun Strowman winning the Battle Royal last week and what was going to happen there when he gets interrupted.
So with that in mind, I have to come up with what I'm going to do about Braun Strowman and
Roman comes out through the timekeeper's area.
Suspended by Mr. McMahon last week. Where's Brock at? I was told that he's running a little bit late. You're going to have him in 3 weeks. You will have Brock Lesnar in the palm of your hands at WrestleMania 34. Do you understand me? Well, Kurt, I do understand, but I still don't care. This is Dallas, Texas.
Teapot.
And I've made a whole bunch of memories up in here, huh? And I'm not...
Like being in the main event of the worst WrestleMania in the last 10 years. That's the big memory you want to talk about. The fact that you faced Triple H for the WWE Championship and got heavily booed out of the building, in which WWE tried to hide the damnedest to make it sound like you were being cheered. Is that the memory you're talking about? Because that's not a good memory if I was somebody who wants to be a proud babyface to be remembered as being somebody who got heavily booed.
I'm not leaving this ring until I make one more tonight.
So Kurt Angle drops the mic, walks out of the ring, he's like, I'm done with this, walks to the back. Out comes 3 guys in flak jackets, and on the back of their shirts say U.S. Marshal. First and foremost, the way this thing goes down, if these were real U.S. Marshals, this man would not be going to WrestleMania to wrestle for the Universal Championship. This guy would be going to jail for attacking a U.S. Marshal. That's a federal offense. Puts his arms out to get tough. The crowd's booing because, and don't let that be hidden what the crowd is booing. The crowd is not booing because Roman Reigns is getting arrested at this time. The crowd's booing because they expected to see Brock Lesnar come out and have this face-to-face confrontation with Roman Reigns, and with Roman Reigns getting arrested, that face-to-face confrontation looks like it would not happen. Roman goes to leave. Guy who arrested him grabs him by the arm. Roman doesn't like that. Tells him not to touch him. Roman's starting to walk. Roman, then the guy grabs Roman again, looking to move him. Then they start to fight him. Roman then just decks him and just beats the holy hell out of these three guys. He starts beating the holy hell out of these guys. And again, if these were real U.S. Marshals, they would have a loaded gun and he would have 2 shots in the, like, he'd be shot down. But Brock Lesnar's music hits.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Brock Lesnar's here. The beast is here. And the situation is dire for Reigns.
The music hits and Roman looks at the screen and he looks down and he's like, oh shit, I'm cuffed. I'm screwed. And Brock Lesnar just suplex. Then he grabs the steel chair that was in the ring and just starts wailing at Roman.
Roman Reigns, who is defenseless.
I don't hear boos.
He can't defend himself. He's handcuffed. A merciless Lesnar. And the beast continues to assault Reigns.
Another suplex.
Another German suplex. This is nothing short of a street mugging.
Now, after a good bit more beatdown and stuff, they cut most of it out. Roman Reigns is in the ring. The EMTs come out. They go to put him on a stretcher. You start hearing a "You deserve it" chant. Of course, it didn't work out as well this time as it usually would, but you did hear a "You deserve it" chant. And a lot of people on Twitter, I mean, like, people in the crowd saying "You deserve it" should be ashamed of themselves because the guy just got beat down. First and foremost, Roman Reigns, how is Roman Reigns the good guy here? These three guys who were not U.S. Marshals, because again, if they were real U.S. Marshals, he would probably have 2 in the back of his head and not be alive for attacking U.S. Marshals or be tasered or whatever, and would be going to jail for assaulting U.S. Marshals and not be going to WrestleMania because that's jail time. That's a lot of jail time, and you would not see Roman Reigns again. So the fact that they went with U.S. Marshals for this skit, for this this entire thing, was stupid right there. Secondly, nobody's buying it, Vince. The reason people are saying "You deserve it" is because nobody's buying what Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns is not an anti-authority figure. This guy should be corporate. This guy is the cousin of The Rock. What was the biggest thing that made Rock a big star? Yes, he became a heel. Then he became the Rock. He went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock in the Nation. But what he really had his breakout moment, his breakout time, was when he became the corporate champion. This guy right here, as an anti-authority, they're trying to give him, fill up them Stone Cold shoes. He's not even the John Cena right now. They're trying to give him a Stone Cold vibe because he's bucking authority. He's doing what he wants to be able to get to Brock Lesnar. And the fans aren't buying it. You get a "You deserve it" chant. They get him on the stretcher. Get him on his backboard, get him in a stretcher. They didn't do it the whole call-up for whatever reason.
Show up to represent the main event at WrestleMania.
Lesnar's music hits again as they're getting him on the stretcher. Here's the crowd. Crowd's cheering.
Lesnar's the one who should be arrested, not Roman Reigns.
Shoves Roman down off the stretch, over the stretcher.
It was one thing when there were just handcuffs on.
Come on, what's the difference, Coach? Reigns was defenseless when this attack first started.
Well, he can't even use his arms now.
Now he's strapped to a backboard. He's motionless out there. Will somebody get down here and do something about this?
Get the U.S. Marshals back out here. Get Dallas PD. Somebody's got to stop this.
Hey, the U.S. Marshals were quick to be out here when Reigns was trespassing.
Did you hear that? He's pulling the stretcher. He's pulling the stretcher with Roman Reigns on it. He's trying to dismantle the stretcher. Of course, that didn't work out. And all you hear in the crowd is yes, 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 yes. How much more does Vince McMahon have to hear the fans boo Roman Reigns, cheer the other guys? You have Roman Reigns get himself handcuffed and attack 3 supposed U.S. Marshals who portraying U.S. Marshal guys. So he's resisting arrest. He's attacking an authority figure, attacking a cop, an essential cop, and Brock Lesnar is supposed to be the bad guy. So Vince McMahon figure out how logically bad this sounds. I mean, come on, you have him go out there, buck authority, and become this guy who says, "Oh, I don't care about suspension. I was here. I'm going to have to be here because Brock Lesnar's not going to be." Then it makes no sense why they think this is going to work. It's not going to work. Vince McMahon has got to get it through his thick skull that Roman Reigns is not ever going to be loved by the fans the way he is booked now. Now, before we get into any more of the show tonight, and they don't have it on here, that's surprising. Before we get into any more of the show, I want to talk about this, is like what I would do for this entire thing. Roman Reigns is a failed babyface, plain and simple. He is a failed babyface. They have done everything they think they can do, but it's not going to work. Roman Reigns needs to come out the night after WrestleMania he needs to become corporate. Be introduced by the authority or by Vince McMahon. Have a suit and tie on. Have the championship in the ring, and he gets handed the championship and shakes Vince McMahon's hand, and McMahon raises his hand, and he becomes a corporate sellout or something like that. Have the Authors of Pain come up and be his bodyguards. Have these guys, have them, and get somebody else if you want to. Somebody suggested to me that tonight that the Usos should come over from SmackDown and it should be Roman Reigns and the Usos as a team, and because the Usos have been on fire. And I'm like, no, the Usos are a made team. They have made themselves who they are. They are on fire. They don't need to be in a team with faction with Roman Reigns, because that'll bring them down. They are up high where they're at because of themselves. They don't need to be with Roman Reigns. If you want this to work out with Roman Reigns, he needs to turn heel. Look at all, not just anybody, look at all of the, everybody. Look at everybody who's been on the top as a babyface, as the main guy. John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, all have had successful heel runs. Yes, John Cena's heel run came in his first year, but if without that heel turn, we don't see John Cena today. Hulk Hogan, when he first was in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation from Vincent J. McMahon, not Vincent K. McMahon, Vincent J. McMahon, Vince Sr., he was a heel. He was heel. That got him to where he could be, and then eventually he went to AWA and became Hulk Hogan, the Hulkamania guy. That's where Hulkamania came from. And then he came over to WWE, and he became the big guy he is. And then also, later in his career, he turns heel in 1996, and it reinvigorates his career. Stone Cold Steve Austin started as a heel. He was the heel who did not give a fuck about anybody, and the fact that the double turn at WrestleMania, he came in as a heel, left as a babyface, but went as a babyface and left as a heel, was one of the biggest moments in WrestleMania history. John Cena, I already talked about The Rock, but John Cena, he started out with just bland shorts, bland boots, and that was it. He was a white meat babyface, and that was it. October 2002, he turns heel on Billy Kidman. I just got done watching it a couple days ago. He turns heel and eventually starts morphing into the Doctor of Thugonomics. And I'm going to say it straight up. The Doctor of Thugonomics, when he started doing those raps and everything, was the best time for John Cena. He wasn't goofy. He wasn't joking around. He was serious. He wanted to just sit there and lay down truth. and be the best heel he could be, and he did a hell of a job. It's sad that we don't get to see that John Cena anymore, because most of the time it's all about jumping around, doing a little heel turn thing, goofing like an idiot, and all that. Roman Reigns, if they want him to become a success, you need to turn this guy heel. You need to shed this Shield garb. He needs to come out the night after WrestleMania with a suit and tie on, and the next time he wrestles, he doesn't wear the Shield stuff, the boots, the jean, the pants, and the Kevlar vest. He needs to come out with new music, a new attitude, and just the first night, of course, you bring in the AOP, and then you give this guy a heel run. He won't be forever heel. That's the biggest problem that Vince has. He doesn't want to give his top guy a heel run, but he has to. You blew it on John Cena, and John Cena has been stale as hell. For about 10 freaking years, he's been stale. Hardly ever doing anything different. But again, John Cena, and that's also another thing. What is Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena all have in common that Roman Reigns has not hit yet? They all have evolved their characters. They have all evolved at one time or another. John Cena has evolved 3 times, from a stale bland babyface to the 4 times, I should say. The heel Dr. Thugonomics, the babyface Dr. Thugonomics, and now the leader of the C Nation, as they call him, which he's been for about 13 years. The Rock went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock in the Nation to a clean-cut babyface Rock who was over. Then he became the corporate champion. Then he became the People's Champion again, and then he became Hollywood Rock, which that was a cool run from January to April of 2003. That was a cool little babyface run. Then heel run, not babyface, but a heel run. Then he came back and became the Rock again, and the rest is history. Roman Reigns, what has happened to Roman Reigns? Nothing. He has been the quintessential reason the people hate him the most is like when the Shield broke up in 2014. Dean Ambrose got new music and a new ring attire. Seth Rollins, new music, new ring attire, new attitude. Both of those guys. Roman Reigns is stuck in 2012 to 2014. He acts like the Shield. He acts like the Shield still. The Shield Roman. He's never changed who he is, and it needs to change. There is no reason that he even needs to be the heel that the same Roman Reigns as he has been for a long time, and it's just ridiculous that they haven't changed him. So the fact that you have the fans cheering when he's being put on a stretcher, when Brock Lesnar's music hits, and they're just cheering, and when he shoves it over and he pulls the stretcher back, and this guy is being those yes chants. This has got to be boiling. Vince's blood's got to be boiling in the back when you're hearing yes chants. When the guy who is supposedly leaving after WrestleMania is getting over as a face, even though you want him to be the heel that doesn't give a fuck about WWE. That's a failure. This whole entire thing has been a failure, and it's time to move on. And I'm not in the wrestling business, but if I'm a booker, and I'm gonna say it's now, if I'm the guy in charge and I'm the one making the booking this entire thing, the moment this guy is starting, I wouldn't do it immediately, but like a week or so after, if he's still getting booed, I'm turning this guy heel. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I would figure out how to turn this guy heel because it would be needed. Holding this guy as a babyface and trying to keep him as a quintessential babyface, and not a good babyface. This harkens back to when he was feuding against Rusev and all these other heels that he's had. How the hell do you always have a babyface going up against a heel that's justified in why they're attacking Roman? Brock Lesnar is justified in this because Roman Reigns is attacking his character. He attacked three supposed U.S. Marshals in story today, and Brock Lesnar's the bad guy. If I see somebody attacking a couple DEA agents or anybody, I'm gonna go. If I'm at Brock Lesnar's size, I say not my size, but if I'm Brock Lesnar's size, I'm gonna go over there and whip his ass because he's attacking he's attacking federal authority, and he should be arrested. WWE makes no sense why they even do what they do. It just gets so annoying that they even did that. But we will see how this goes. We have 2 more weeks after this of this garbage. How much further can they sink to try and get Roman over? And it's not working. It's not. When we roll into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans for WrestleMania 34, and by the end of that night, quite honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna have the energy for this match anyway, because of all the matches that come before it. If this match ends the show, 1, it's a mistake unless you're turning Roman Reigns heel, and 2, nobody's gonna have a reaction for it anyway because they're all gonna be tired from AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. The mixed tag match with Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, and all these other matches that are going to happen. Just this match is going to be a train wreck, whether you like it or not. That is my rant on that, and we'll probably rant about it next week as well. Moving on here, we had our first match of the night, which was Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, because, they have to get everyone who's viable out of the way, so Asuka doesn't have anything left to do. Bliss had the microphone before the match. They do not have the clip on YouTube, or else I would actually play it for you, where she pretty much talks about how she was like, I'm sorry for what I did last week. I'm sorry that I didn't say it sooner. I should have. But, Nia Jax, they pretty much just undercut Nia Jax even more, just pretty much trying to justify why they're going to give Nia Jax the match at WrestleMania, which unfortunately they do without even giving her a reason why she deserves it. Alexa Bliss ends up walking out of this match because she did dominate majority of this match. I don't know why you want to try and do that, but they had her dominate majority of this match. This is a type of match where you have the Royal Rumble winner going to SmackDown to face Charlotte. You don't want to make her look weak, but you don't want to look like the Women's Champion on Raw look weak. So you really couldn't have Alexa Bliss get pinned here. So she ends up walking out of the match after she gets put in an ankle lock for a bit and all that good stuff. But this match going 95% Alexa Bliss and 5% Asuka for the majority of this match was still, I think, a bad booking decision. It's just one of those things that they just need to figure out what they're going to do. After the match, they're trying to get away. What pisses me off, though, is Corey Graves was immediately as this match is over, it starts, he's like, Asuka's streak is going to end tonight, 100%. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because Nia Jax got dropped. Alexa Bliss dropped Nia Jax, so she's more focused on Asuka. No, you idiot. Just stupid how they do that. Match was nothing special. It was just how it was. Of course, after the match, Nia's music hits, and she goes after Bliss as she mows over Mickey on the way. She catches up to Bliss and has a hold of her while she's over the barricade until Mickey attacks Jax so Bliss can get away. But Jax eventually gets in the hot pursuit. In the back, we see Kurt Angle on the phone, and in comes Alexa Bliss.
See what Nia just did out there? She is out of control. You need to do something about this. She should be suspended. No. She should be arrested.
I've had enough rest for one night. Enough people tell me what to do, and you're not one of them. Yeah, I saw what Nia did. And so did... As a matter of fact, I actually heard what you said last week and tonight. And so did millions of young women all over the world, including my daughters. The Raw Women's Champion should be a role model, not a bully. So you want me to do something about Nia? I know exactly what I'm going to do about Nia. I'm going to give her a match against you for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania.
And Alexa Bliss looks scared as could be, as she did a couple weeks ago when she thought she was going to be facing Asuka at WrestleMania. Now, can somebody please tell me what Nia Jax has done to deserve to I'm not saying deserve. I don't like the word deserve, just saying. But what has she done to earn a title match at WrestleMania? This match screams pre-show 110%. This match has just been awfully built. Heck, for like the last month and 2 months, it seems like, since Asuka won the Royal Rumble, up until Fastlane, it was Asuka versus Bliss, Asuka versus Bliss. We assumed Asuka versus Bliss. They even said last week, Charlie Caruso said, we all assumed. Well, don't assume, dumb fucks. Wait till she says something. God, how bad they do this. This has just been awful booking from day one. Alexa Bliss has done nothing for this title. Alexa Bliss has done nothing but drag this title down. The Raw women, all the titles on Raw are meaningless right now. All the titles on Raw are absolutely meaningless. They have no meaning to them. The Women's Championship, the Tag Team Championships, the Intercontinental title, and the Universal title have all been held down. None of them have been great. None of them. They have all just been absolute garbage. The tag team division is awful. Alexa Bliss has been awful as a women's champion. The Intercontinental title has been held on The Miz, which is just garbage as it is. The guy hasn't done anything with it. And the Universal title has not been here more than once every 6 months. It seems like, or once every 3 months. So, why am I going to care about any of the championships on Raw? And no, I don't count the Cruiserweight Championship being part of Raw, because 205 Live is becoming its own brand. So, it's its own brand, and it's better. But we're not going to get into that. So, that was that. But that match is pre-show. If that match takes up, if we see like the Usos in the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers, or versus the Bludgeon Brothers and versus New Day is on the pre-show, and they put this match on the main card, that is criminal to the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. But this match should be pre-show 110%. Nothing else. This thing does not justify the main card, period. Especially with 2 Battle Royals, which will probably be in the pre-show. Anyway, Strowman is out here. Comes out next to address his match at WrestleMania, and he needs to find a partner. Last week, he said he won the Tag Team Battle Royal by himself. He carved the path of destruction. Now he will go to Mania, but he has to have a partner. He said he doesn't need one, and he can win the tag team titles on his own, which I really do not want to see him happen to go on his own. Sheamus and Cesaro come out and say Strowman won't stand a chance against the Bar, so he better find a partner. Strowman tells them to shut the hell up. Sheamus says, how dare you? Braun and his partner will not win at Mania. Strowman says you have 2 things to worry about and not Roman Reigns, which they said, if you think the beating that Brock Lesnar gave Roman Reigns earlier was bad, we're going to make you and your partner feel even worse. Strowman says 2 things. 1, I have a partner, and 2, I have a match with one of you right now. And Cesaro ended up becoming the one who ended up facing Braun. What happened was, and this was pretty funny, both of them were talking on the outside who to be. They both get on the apron. It looks like they're both going to go in the same time, but Sheamus twirls around and is like, no, you got this one, buddy. Match pretty much was as it is. Cesaro from the beginning gets destroyed and tossed. He gets tossed all around the entire ring. But we do come back from commercial after he gets tossed outside, and Cesaro is actually in control of Strowman for a second. Cesaro goes for a suplex, but Strowman stops that. Cesaro ends up sending Strowman outside, running dropkick to Strowman onto the outside. Strowman with the back body drop to Cesaro. Sheamus looks to get involved, but Strowman backs him off. Cesaro goes for a splash off the steps, but Strowman catches that and drives him into the barricade. Back in the ring, Strowman runs into the turnbuckle. Cesaro, the whole, I gotta have my shoulder, somebody's shoulder has to go into the turnbuckle post. It's just been classic WWE for like the last 6, 7, 8 months or so. He does. Then Cesaro ends up drop kicking him into the post again. He goes for the neutralizer, but Strowman stops that, and Cesaro is sent to the outside and comes back in, and pretty much hangman Strowman off the top rope. Neutralizer blocked again. Cesaro goes for a spring off the top ropes, but eats a shot. Splash in the corner, running power slam stop when Sheamus gets up and distracts Strowman, who runs outside and runs Sheamus down. Back in, Cesaro gets caught with a dive and running power slam for the 3 count. So, Strowman wins, and that was that. Then we had Titus Worldwide versus the Revival. Who the fuck cares? These teams are irrelevant. And the Revival won that one with the Shadow Machine. Wasn't really paying attention. Then the Revival, if I can have the clip, which I doubt it, because, you know, that's just how it is. Actually, I think they do. The Revival faced them, and then they got asked what they're going to be doing at WrestleMania, since Strowman is going to be facing the Bar with a tag team partner of his choice. Let me get it. I gotta cue it up, right? So yes, the Revival win their match against Titus Worldwide, who are irrelevant. And here's Charlie
defend their
Caruso.
tag team titles against Braun Strowman in a partner. What do you see as your path to WrestleMania?
You know, Charlie, that's a good question, because there is no tag team on earth more qualified than us to challenge for the Raw tag team titles.
Yeah, Charlie, listen, if Braun Strowman, he decided to step into our world, now Dash and myself, we're gonna compete in his. And tonight we officially declare that the Revival will be the first tag team to ever win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania.
That's right.
So the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was confirmed tonight, so we will have Dash and Dawson in there. So what will happen with that? I don't know. We will have to wait and see. Mark Henry was announced as the latest, and hopefully most likely the last, because I really don't see them needing anyone else. They have a big class with Goldberg, Ivory, the Dudley Boys, Mark Henry, Kid Rock, JJ, the Warrior Award, Jeff Jarrett. They really don't need anyone else. I think Mark Henry is the last inductee for the Hall of Fame, and he is much deserved. The dude's been in WWE for 20 years. He's been there. He started out as just himself. He had his first match, his first actual legit wrestling match for WWE was with Jerry Lawler, which got him pretty much high praise from Jerry for how strong he really was. He eventually did join the Nation of Domination, which, it is what it is. He eventually became Sexual Chocolate, which I'm not even going to go there. Attitude Era, people. Attitude Era. He did miss the entire Invasion angle. They did have him down in OVW at the time. He did come back after winning a strongman competition and becoming classified as the world's strongest man, which is a hell of an accolade for someone like him. He then ended up being... he was on SmackDown. They started doing the whole world's strongest thing with him. Like, he would sit there and they had a stretch limo go up against him. He had his legs up and all that good stuff. And then eventually he became the Hall of Pain, which helped him capture the World Heavyweight Championship in 2010. And the best moment, one of the best moments in Raw happened with Mark Henry, which they blew with how they went with it. And that was Mark Henry's fake retirement. If everyone remembers what Mark Henry did, he came out when John Cena was cutting a promo. He came out in this pinkish dress suit with a pink tie, I believe. Talked about his accolades, talked about how everything was. He asked John Cena to stay there. John Cena handed him the title. I think it was the world title, the WWE title at the time that he had, and talked about how a young boy from Silsby did good, and he pretty much baited everybody in. He shook John Cena's hand, looked for a hug, and he put John Cena up and hit the world's strongest slam and said, I have a lot more in the tank. And it was one of the best moments of all time. Unfortunately, they blew that because you had this guy with that awesome promo. Apparently, his family didn't even know his family thought he was retiring too, which if you punch his family out complete with that too, damn, they dropped the ball. He went out and wrestled John Cena for the championship, whichever one he had, and of course he lost, which I think was a mistake. They should have had him win that match, have himself a little bit of Hall of Pain again, and then lose to John Cena in no time. So congratulations, Mark Henry, much deserved. 27 years with the WWE. He is retired. He's now a backstage agent, so that guy's probably going to be with WWE for the foreseeable future in a backstage role. And young guys can learn a lot from Mark Henry, a guy who's been there and seen a lot. Moving on here, we had Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville at Absolution for the, I don't know, 100th time on Monday Night Raw. So, but the thing coming out of this match was how things started before the match and during the match.
You don't run away from it. Nor do you go to the back and talk about them behind their backs. You confront them and talk about it face to face. Bayley, you're my best friend. And whatever is going on between us, I swear to you, I want to fix it. I know at Elimination Chamber I hurt your feelings, but you have to understand, that was every woman for themselves. I wasn't trying to betray our friendship. I was trying to go out there and win the Raw Women's Championship, just like I intend to go on to WrestleMania and win the Women's Battle Royal. But you weren't trying to win anything when you refused to tag me in after Elimination Chamber. Nor were you trying to be my friend when you walked out on me last week and left me high and dry. That was twice. 2 times you left me, Bayley. But since I'm the bigger person and I consider you as my sister, I forgive you.
Wants to get in shape.
The night after Elimination Chamber in our tag match, I was angry, and I acted impulsively. Maybe I could have cost us our match, but I didn't. And the following week, I didn't cost you your match. I actually helped you win. When the match was done, I took off. It's because I can't get over what you did to me at the Elimination Chamber.
That was back in February. Get over it.
It's not even about what you did, Sasha. It's how you did it. Trust me, I get it. You know me better than anybody. You know how I am in that locker room. You know how we are, and I get it. I know you do what you have to do to win your matches. But the look on your face after you did it, the glare in your eyes and the smirk that you had, it ate at my core. You literally grabbed my hand and you kicked me down that pod and you watched me fall. And you smiled. I can't get that picture out of my head. You're supposed to be my best friend. So why was knocking me down so easy, like it meant nothing?
And before she could answer, Absolution came out, and, Paige had to get her 2 cents in. So, yay, another match for these guys. This match, the crowd was dead. Completely dead. The biggest talking points of this match are Banks tags in for a moment. Bayley thinks that she's still a legal person. Bayley goes to the pin. Banks pulls her off and says, get out of the ring. She goes to the pin, gets a 2 count, and then, of course, Banks takes the heat for the majority of the match there. Banks goes to tag in Bayley. She's crawling. You know how usually the hot tags come in, the tag team partners down, has their arm down, ready to tag in. She's crawling, but Bayley's going just inching back, not to tag in. She does tag in when Banks gets back up and gets kicked and falls into the rope. She tags in there, and she goes crazy. Towards the end of the match, and this is pretty much how the match ends. Bayley's a legal person. So I believe Sonya Deville is. Mandy Rose and Sasha Banks are fighting in Bayley and Sasha Banks' corner. The referee is distracted there. Bayley has a backslide on Sonya Deville for about a good 5-6 seconds before the referee comes over and counts 1-2. Banks and Bayley start arguing back and forth. Deville shoves Bayley into Banks. Banks falls out of the ring. A kick to Bayley's head for the 3 count winners of Absolution. So that was how that was. There was no interaction after the match after that from these two. But We will see what happens. Let the rumors of the WrestleMania match being scrapped because of the criticism of WWE not having it be the title feud. Where is this going to go? Are they going to continue this into WrestleMania and this is going to be like post WrestleMania and this will lead into Backlash or something? I don't know. But it's just like, what is this going to culminate to if these two are just going to be in the Women's Royal Battle Royal and not have a singles match? So yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen next. So we will see what happens with Bayley and Sasha Banks in the next 2 weeks, because by the next time Raw comes around, we'll have 2 weeks left of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is coming around the corners, ladies and gentlemen, and things are just starting to heat up, I guess. Another talking point of the night, Cena is here for answers from The Undertaker. Will Cena get a yes or no? Let's find out.
As long as there is a WWE, the name Undertaker has meaning.
Of course, they cut out most of it. He started out with saying, last week I put out a challenge to The Undertaker. I gave him a choice, yes or no. Tonight we found out his response. I still find it amazing. He's been hiding because he feels embarrassed. And the crowd was chanting something. He's like, I agree with the crowd. He feels we think he don't belong here. That's ridiculous. And then what he just said.
Now get ready and hold on to your seats, because The Undertaker's response to my challenge at WrestleMania is nothing. And that is the biggest mistake The Undertaker has ever made. I said it last week and I meant it. I do not mind going to WrestleMania as a fan. I would love to go to WrestleMania as The Undertaker's opponent. But for that dude to not be able to get off his ass and give me a yes or no, that is damn disrespectful. It is disrespectful to me. But more importantly, it is disrespectful to each and every one of you. See, folks, without you guys, there's no streak. There is no rest in peace, and there damn sure ain't no Undertaker. So, Mr. Undertaker, after all of these people have given you everything they have, you can't find it to give them a yes or a no? Dude, if you're retired, say no and be retired, and everybody in here understands. But if you're not retired, damn it, man, say yes and give the world what they want to see.
I don't want to see it.
But what do? You sit there and drown in your own insecurity. You are not the God that they made you. You are the man you've allowed yourself to become. And that man, Undertaker, is a coward.
Ooh, coward, huh?
The Undertaker is a coward! You hear that? There it is. The exact moment you let everybody down who ever believed in you. Undertaker, you are not a god, and right now you should barely be able to call yourself a man.
Kane comes out, and John Cena is like, oh, this is it. This is the response that we want. He did ask the fans in the crowd. He said, do something. If you want to have this happen, do something. Crowd chants, do something. Kane's music hits. Kane comes out. Kane ends up chokeslamming John Cena, exits, which leads to a match next week between Kane and John Cena, where if they're going to have a match between John Cena and The Undertaker, we need a response next week. not on the go-home show. We need a response next week. So if we're going to get Cena versus The Undertaker, it's either next week or it doesn't happen at all. Just saying. The next thing I don't even want to talk about because this is just, I don't care how supposedly good on the mic The Miz is. Him whining and complaining about him not being on the WrestleMania poster or being on the WrestleMania cups or being on the WrestleMania seats. Shut the fuck up, and nobody gives a fuck about how long you've held the title for and how many fucking reigns you've had. We care about how you present yourself as a champion. We care about how you present yourself in the ring, and you're a soft crybaby that nobody gives a fuck about. And I don't care how good you're on the mic, your in-ring skills suck. Your in-ring skills suck. You cry like a little bitch. You have your little cronies help you out in every single one of your fucking matches. It's just ridiculous. I don't care for the fucking Miz. I don't want to see him have the Intercontinental title anymore. I don't care if he holds the title after this anymore. Get the title off Miz. Keep it off Miz. It's not about the length. Nobody gives a shit about the length. Yes, you might come close. You might break Pedro Morales' or whoever it is long length of time as being champion. But you did it. He did it in 1 or 2 reigns. So how does that make you the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time? It doesn't. Shut the fuck up. Quit your complaining and just wrestle good matches. Which, oh, that's right, you can't fucking do. All he did tonight was whine and complain until the Balor Club came out. You had a 6-man tag match, and having every time he says, "I get no respect," having Axel and Dallas say, "No respect," just made it sound even worse. Shut the fuck up. He called, and this was funny because the last thing he talked about, he called Seth Rollins Tyler Black and Finn Balor Prince Nevitt. He didn't call it Prince Devitt, Prince Nevitt. Guy messed up on his words, but still. So him trying to shoot to use their old wrestling indie names doesn't help your cause either. Shut the fuck up. Wrestle the match. You aren't happy about people not being on the WrestleMania posters and everything. Give them a reason. And flapping your fucking gums is not a reason. Flapping your fucking gums gets you absolutely nothing. Go in that fucking ring. Show them why you are supposedly one of the best, which you're not. Show them why you want to be known as one of, if not the best in the ring, instead of flapping your fucking gums. I'm so tired of The Miz. I really am. Balor Club versus The Miz. Don't really care. Seth comes out and commentator to watch the match. Miz gets rolled up by Balor for the pin, and Balor in the Balor Club wins. Post-match, The Miz Taraj beats down Balor Club until Rollins gets off the commentary desk because it looked like the Miz Taraj looked like they were about to go for the Shield triple powerbomb. He attacks the Miz Taraj and hits a blackout curb stomp on the Miz. Balor gets back up and him and Balor stare down. He tells Balor, "You owe me one." So we'll see what happens on there. They did a hype package for Ronda Rousey versus for her match, which was pretty nice. She did lay out the truths and stuff about how things have been for her. She went to the Olympics and she got a bronze medal, I believe. And she talks about how her life just didn't become all that glamorous and everything, because when you're in the Olympics and stuff like that, things aren't always glamorous. They're not. A lot of people see how these athletes are great and everything, but a lot of them, they don't get that huge spotlight that you see the professional athletes who come over. The amateurs who go to the Olympics, they don't get the same praise, and sometimes they ended up living in their cars and stuff, like she said she did. And it was a nice package and it was really great to see, but it was what it was. The Ultimate Deletion. The Ultimate Deletion. It was next. Before the Ultimate Deletion started, they showed Wyatt come to the Hardy. He got to the Hardy compound. Wyatt is walking slowly with his lantern. He is met by Vanguard 1. He continues to walk slowly. We get to the ring and see Hardy, Rebby, and a referee. Rebby is, of course, playing the piano. They go to break. We come back before the Ultimate Deletion starts. And Michael Cole, I'm sure he was probably told to say this. I don't know if he really feels about this. But the look on his face when he says, "I'm sorry we had to show this to you." I am absolutely disgusted that a guy like that would even say that. Fuck you, Michael Cole. If that's how you really fucking feel about this shit, take off your headset, go to the back, and stop being on Monday Night Raw, because this stuff was fun. Stuff like this is what WWE's been missing. Entertainment. This is entertainment people want to see, not the stupid ass shit that you see every fucking week on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. This is entertainment people like to see, you stupid fucking prick. Go fuck off, go suck your McMahon balls like you always do, and keep your opinions to yourself. If he was told to say that, whatever, but it feels like it was what he really wanted to say. He doesn't, obviously, it looked like he was not a fan of this thing at all. He looks like he hasn't been a fan of this one bit. Well, Michael Cole, fuck you. The match itself, when you look down at your clock and it says 10:57 and they're just starting the Ultimate Deletion, you're like, this is not going to be a very long thing at all, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Pretty much the start of the match, and they circle and laugh until Matt says enough. The time is time for laughing is over, and they lock up. They do wrestle around for a little bit. They both try and go for their finishers. Hardy says Vanguard 1 initiate, and Wyatt's like, initiate what? And of course you can't have a deletion of any kind without fireworks, and the fireworks go off. Wyatt rolls out of the ring eventually, and they start after a few chair shots, and they fight in the compound. One thing that was really cool that I don't think I saw in any of the deletions on Impact Wrestling. When we got to a new area, a little nameplate came up telling you where we were at. They first went to the dilapidated city, which apparently was the compound, the Wyatt compound, reincarnated, that Orton burned down last year before WrestleMania. Kendo stick shots to Bray, who was daydreaming about this. Wyatt gets the stick, and Hardy moves over to the land of obsolete men. From the land of obsolete men, Wyatt's sitting there trying to do the whole, like, he's trying to play a human version of whack-a-mole, like, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until Hardy was alone, like, shh, and then ran away. Hardy ends up leaving the area, and they end up somewhere. Wyatt gets the upper hand. Wyatt breaks a branch over Hardy to get a 2 count. Then Wyatt beats on Hardy some more. Wyatt tosses Hardy into the Dome of Deletion. And then anybody who watched Total Nonstop Deletion, I'm pretty sure the majority of the Total Nonstop Deletion happened in this entire area, because you had the ring set up, and you had a piano, you had a wheelchair, an old wheelchair, and a lawnmower in here. But I'm pretty sure this is where the majority of Total Nonstop Deletion was taped back before, they did the entire, whatever that final match was. Wyatt tosses Hardy in there, goes for Uranagi onto the piano, but Hardy blocks that and grabs a ladder and runs into Wyatt a few times. All of a sudden, after he beats him down while he's down with a ladder, Hardy gets in this trance and is like, chair of wheels, mower of lawns, chair of wheels, mower of lawns, chair of wheels. And he's just going back and forth that. Eventually he gets on the mower, looks to run over where Wyatt. Wyatt does his spider thing, gets up, and they brawl some more. He does grab Hardy, and if he actually turned the lawnmower on, it was a riding mower, by the way. It was a riding mower. He picks Hardy up and just smash his face into the top of the riding mower where the engine would be, so it would be a little bit hot. So if that was actually on, he was actually burning Hardy's face. Into the ring, Hardy goes for a second, but ends up on the apron. Wyatt drives Hardy onto the apron, only gets a 2 count. Wyatt says this is Hardy's ultimate deletion and starts dragging him, and eventually picks him up and starts carrying him to the Lake of Reincarnation. And I'm like, okay, this is where the fun's going to start. Matt looks for his dilapidated boats, but Wyatt looks to end it here, but Vanguard 1 comes into frame, and Wyatt grabs Vanguard 1, says, I'll deal with you later, tosses him away. The dilapidated boat, of course, is upside down, and he flips it over, and Senior Benjamin is just laying there with this little blow-up globe, tosses it to Wyatt, starts chanting, saying you have the whole world in its hands, Brother Nero, not Jeff Hardy. This is Brother Nero. Brother Nero appears beside him and says the same thing. Twist of fate from Matt Hardy. 1, 2, 3, and Matt Hardy wins. Then after the match, Bray Wyatt is getting up. Matt Hardy has a board and Bray Wyatt's like, "This is not over. This is not over, man." Matt Hardy's like, "It's over," and hits him and knocks him into the lake of reincarnation. Has Senior Benjamin to go get Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is not there. And he says it is over, and Bray Wyatt is deleted. Now, where was it rushed? It felt a little rushed. It should have went a little bit longer. If they would have cut out the entire Ronda Rousey segment, they could have added a little bit more time to this. That would have been great. Where do we go from here with the whole Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy thing? What happens to Bray Wyatt? He's deleted. Maybe and someone suggested this, and this will be funny, but I doubt it. Bray Wyatt shows up on Raw next week as Husky Harris, which kind of impossible because Husky Harris was a little bit bigger and he had a bigger beard. Or not, actually, he didn't have a beard. He'd have to shave his entire beard off if we wanted to do this right. He would come out as Husky Harris with NXT garb on, say he became Bray Wyatt after Randy Orton knocked his brain out, and pretty much racked his brain with that punch 7 years ago. And now he's Husky Harris again, which would be just a mistake, I think. But whether they do, I don't know. Maybe he's going to be broken away on Bray Wyatt, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't even see Bray Wyatt. Maybe they just killed off Bray Wyatt, wrote off Bray Wyatt, the character, and is going to repackage him. I don't know. We'll see. But it was rushed, in my opinion. I think it could have been a little longer. Having just Senior Benjamin toss a globe at Brother Nero show up beside him. They both say he has the world war in his hands. Twist of fate from Matt Hardy, 1, 2, 3, and then shove him into the lake of reincarnation for him to ultimately disappear. I don't know. I think they could have had a better ending, but it was better than the people were trying to compare it to the House of Horrors they had last year with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. This was better by far. This was way better, just way better. Also, the House of Horrors ended up in the middle of the ring, and Bray Wyatt needed Jinder Mahal's help to win the match. This was better. Was it anything? Was it what I expected? Pretty much, yes. But it's WWE. To anybody who's like, "Oh well, they rushed it. It's WWE," but it's WWE. They're gonna do it their way. Was Vince McMahon there for the thing? No. Was Triple H there to run this thing? No. It was Jeremy Borash, Matt Hardy, probably Jeff Hardy, Bray Wyatt, and whoever else. It probably was most of the people and Bray Wyatt from who they had before. So it did its job. We'll see where they go with Bray Wyatt from here, and Matt Hardy as well. They did have Brother Nero, which was cool to see, but we will see what happens. And will we see another deletion on Raw? Hopefully, because it was entertaining. This Ultimate Deletion thing was far more entertaining than anything else they have done on Monday Night Raw in the last 5 years or so. Minus, of course, Stone Cold coming out and, of course, stunning Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon at Raw 25, because that's always entertaining. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this night's Raw, and what's your thoughts of all the matches and everything done. What's your thoughts on Roman Reigns being pretty much failing at his job, which is to become an over babyface, and he just can't do it. And what are your thoughts on the Undertaker's no response yet? And of course, what was your thoughts on the Ultimate Deletion and everything else? I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown. Find me on Twitter at TheFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. And I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live, where Daniel Bryan returns, and can he find control in the SmackDown Live roster, and what will happen with what happened with Shane McMahon last week. We will find out tomorrow, and I'll be here to give you all my thoughts. Until then, I'm out of here.